Mick, just been down here with your lad who's just signed with Steve. Thought we'd catch up with yourself and find out about your background in boxing, because you've been all over the place with boxing, haven't you?
Yeah, on and off. I've probably spent over 20 years now, and I wouldn't say I fell out with boxing. It didn't really appeal to me anymore. Really, I've sort of coached at a sort of small amateur level, and then Owen got to about sort of 10, 11, and came, "Oh, Dad, I want to box." And I'd not done anything for 4 or 5 years by that point. I did everything I could to talk him out of it, to be honest. I don't think anybody, even a lot of the father-son relationships in boxing out there, I think if they told you, if their son was coming to them and saying, "I want to go boxing, Dad," I think even the ones that have been ex-champions, probably something inside will try and dissuade them from it, and that was me.
You can't actually. Well, it's good that he came to you, because you can't force someone to do something.
No, exactly. Yeah,
tough as boxing, can you?
That's
You've
it.
got to want it.
Yeah, exactly. And likewise, who am I to then tell him, "No, you're not doing that"? If that's his passion, he wants to try it. So we gave it a go, and 10, 11 years on, here he is.
So just going back then, you've been all over. I mean, as I said, it's weird because your son's up in Morecambe, his life is up there. Your life now is in South Wales.
Yep.
You were talking, you trained down with Tony Borg down at his gym in. Where is that in Wales?
In Newport. Yeah. So I was in London for a long time. Trained at different clubs there. Finchley, Owen already mentioned. We trained out in Essex at a little sort of quiet gym called Club Kill. We've got boxing in the family as well, up in Furness, in Furness and Catholic amateurs. That's been around for sort of 60, 70 years, I think now. So it's been around. I've got uncles that have fought in the army and all that kind of stuff. And then about 3 years ago we left London. I moved over to South Wales, and
why was that? Was that work? Or?
That's my wife's from South Wales.
Oh, right.
We decided just sort of left London really. And I moved over to South Wales, and I thought, well, I'll do look around, and sort of started checking out a few gyms where I could sort of get involved, and obviously, constantly training. I'm back up in Morecambe virtually every week anyway, and every couple of weeks he's down in Wales, so we maintain his training. And then I just reached out, did a bit of research, and found that the guys in Newport and the stable they've got there. So I reached out, and it's coming up for about a year now. I think it was about January, February this year, just before COVID kicked in. Went down there, and we got Owen down not long after he signed with Steve at VIP. Brought him down just to get him around. That's what I've tried to do with Owen all through his career, is get him with the right people. I mean, one thing you'll find with me and Owen, we're airtight, and this is a brutal sport, and I guess with the father hat on, I'm not going to let anybody into that circle unless they've got his interests number one priority. That's my job. Yeah. Because as all boxers do when they step through the ropes, they're at risk, right? And if I'm not providing him with the tools that he needs, then I'm failing as my job as his coach and his dad. So we've been up and down.
It can be a hard thing. I worked with my dad. I used to be a ceiling fixer, and I worked with my dad for about 12 years. And it's hard to I used to go home with my dad, but I found my dad was brilliant at the fact that he could work was work and home was home. How do you find that? I know you don't live together, but maybe it's a hard thing, isn't it, to spend that much time with your son?
It is. I mean, the thing is with me and Owen, we've believe it or not, we've never fallen out. Right? Literally never fallen out. And when we're in the gym and we're locked away, and I've seen it, and I never discredit any coach, I never discredit any boxer. Whether you like them or you don't, you've got to respect them in this game. It's as simple as that. But when we're in the gym, and I push him, and I push him to limits that he's ready to give in, because you've got to be there. Do you know
that? Do you know when it is? Do you know how far to push him and when to support?
I push him all the way. I said to him, we can't bring you into the pro ranks unless you are wholeheartedly committed, disciplined, and you're ready. And the only way to do that is to.
What are your aspirations for him?
To be honest, I just want him to be. I want him to be safe. Is priority for me. And for him to be safe, he's got to do this right.
You've been around the game a long time. You've trained in some great gyms where they produce some great champions.
Yeah, I've been lucky.
What do you think? I mean, you got to look. I know it's hard to say, but you think there's at least a British title out there for him at some point in his
Definitely,
career?
yeah, no question. No, I mean, he's got a long way to go. He's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I'm not saying that, but
you know,
you've got to have an idea. You know, I remember meeting Ricky Allen when he was about 14 years old, and both me and my mates who said to one another, "This kid's special." You know, we knew then that he'd be a world champion. And that's hard to predict. It really is hard to predict.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
We was pretty sure that we could say that then, and you're only 14 years old.
That's it.
So you've been around enough. You've seen champions. You've seen how they develop. You think this kid can go all the way, your lad?
I think so. It's like, I like to break things down. You know, one thing at a time, and he'll tell you himself. You know, we every now and again, and this is more regular than not. You know, we strip everything back to basics. You know, because the reason I do that is when, as you mentioned, when he was about 11 or 12, you know, he was in gym just hitting a bag, or he was skipping, or there was no, I don't know, I just felt he wasn't getting coached. Yeah, do you understand? Yeah, and it's a lot, you know, there's a lot more up there that he needs to.
I was talking to he's one of the MCs around now, Eddie Copeland, won the ABAs. I think he was the last man to beat Teddy Marsh. Beat Teddy Marsh in I think it was 79 ABA championships. And he was talking about bag work and how it's neglected a little bit, how people want to do pads all the time and everything. He said, but bag work, he said, you've got to be focused when you're doing your bag work and think of it as an opponent.
That's
think
it.
of it as a small man, think of it as a small man.
That's
think
it.
Of this, that, concentrate on your footwork moving around the bag.
That's
and
it.
these are some things where, you know, someone can do 10 3-minute rounds on the bag and someone can do 10 3-minute rounds on the bag, and the difference between them
is winning or losing.
Yeah, but it's about the thought that goes into doing those 10 rounds.
That's it.
And thinking about it as an opponent and thinking about it as a fight develops through it.
Yeah.
You know, anyone can hit the bag and bang away.
That's
Put
it.
a little bit of thought and method
That's
behind
it. I mean, one of Owen's strengths is he does study. He studies. He doesn't just study what he's doing in the gym. He studies the sport. He watches other people.
He's a big boxing fan, isn't he?
Yeah, massive. His knowledge is unbelievable. Like literally unbelievable. I could ask, we'd just be chatting about boxing, and I'll mention a boxer from my area, like sort of through the late 80s into the early 90s, and there's nothing he doesn't know.
Going back, I asked you, your lad, what was his favourite boxer? Who's your favourite boxer?
Mine. Tommy Hearns, I think, for me. Yeah, he was.
Freak money.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah. I think Tommy Hearns for me. And it's close. I think it's close with Tommy Hearns and Lennox Lewis.
Yeah.
But I mean, we were fortunate enough to meet Lennox earlier this year when we were out in Vegas. But I mean, you know, going back to what you're saying about getting Owen around, we spent a bit of time in America earlier this year. You know, I took him down to Los Angeles. I reached out to Tony Sullivan, the ex-Olympian from Sunderland, who's based out in Santa Monica. So he's done some stuff. Yeah, he's done some stuff with Wilder and a few other people. So we spent a day down at his gym in LA, which was great. Then went across to Freddie Roach's and
So it was a proper boxing busman's holiday.
Oh yeah. And then of course, you know, the icing on the cake was obviously watching the big man in Vegas.
Oh, so that's when you went over to...
We went over to the Fury Wilder, yeah. We can't
performance. What a performance.
Oh, great performance,
He destroyed it.
Yeah.
I suspected he was going to win, but I didn't think he'd be able to do it in the style and the manner that he did.
Yeah. It was,
but I still never get over the first fight when he got up in the 12th round.
Yeah. Exactly.
How do you do that? How do you get up? When you were asleep, he was asleep for 5 seconds. He was asleep. His eyes were closed, and you know, suddenly he just jumped up like it had an electric shock, and then had his hands behind his back.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, you know, obviously being from Morecambe, Owen's been lucky enough to spend some time with him and Tommy, and he's had a little dance around the ring with him, on some exchange some punches.
But these are things that help to. Help the belief.
That's it. Yeah.
Because
it keeps.
In my day, you know, you never seen a professional fight. Amateurs and pros were so far apart from one another. You know, they weren't even in the same gyms.
More accessible now.
As an amateur, you can be training, as your lad has just been doing, next to a former British champion, a former European champion, a former world champion. So
he's done it a lot. I mean, that was, you know, going back when he was younger. That was when I realised when he started boxing. I thought, right, that first clean punch. Square on the nose, he's going to swing it either way.
Yeah,
right. And it does. I don't care what any of
whether
us
it's for
say.
you or not.
I've seen it in all the gyms. They walk through, and I mean, when I spent my time with, I did some time when I eventually put me through England boxing, and part of the studies there is you just determine, because you don't know where these kids are coming from, you don't know what their backgrounds are. You've got to try and pigeonhole what it is they're looking for from this gym, and make it fit with their background, and see it's a little bit of psychology with them as well, And I thought, right, when he's in his first sparring session, when he gets that first clean punch, that's when we'll know. And he got that clean punch, and he didn't go down. I mean, his nose was sort of bent around his face, but he came back and he gave his own. I thought, okay, with the little bit of skill that he'd picked up from the gyms we'd put him in, and the people we'd put him with, coupled with a good old tear up, because at that age the kids, when you get punched, technique goes out the window, and it's a lottery. And then I thought, fair enough. And as we've gone on, and the people he's gone in with, we've put him in some good pros, we've put him in some fantastic
amateurs. Because he's going to be father's son. Enzo and
Joe. Yeah.
Because it's a very hard thing to do, because it's not just that, like you say, the intensity that you have to commit with boxing is very testing, if you know what I mean.
It is.
Father's son, it's always going to be hard. But
Yeah.
is it going to be anyone else that you're going to be bringing through and bringing on?
I always have. Yeah, the thing is, I've always tried to say to Owen is, to get the best out of yourself and to get the levels you need to be at, you need to associate and put yourself around them people and that environment, and that's that's part of my role. Yes.
So who you've got working with you, and you're helping it to evolve,
Lots of people. I mean, I won't, obviously, not really a place for me to reel names off to you, but it depends what we need. If there's something afoot with his head movement or his footwork or his technique, because sometimes he goes off the boil, and he. Part of my job probably is, I'll try and leave the dad role out of the gym, but every now and again I'll bring him back to ground and say, look, we got, because he gets, like any boxer, you get frustrated when things are, the wheels are falling off. You get frustrated. I think the more frustrated you get, the more angry you get, and it's just gone. So you just take a bit of time out, we strip it back, and we go back to basics.
So you're excited then?
Very. Yeah. I think he's, he's very powerful. He's got, he's strong. Still a lot to do, which we're constantly working on. Steve sort of hinted sort of April time possibly for his debut. So still a lot to work on, get his fitness up. With hundreds and hundreds of rounds of sparring he's done, over the last few years. Because for me,
sparring is important.
It's really important. We put him in with different weights, different sizes, different shapes, different experiences. So he can feel it all, and I think that's how you've got to progress. So we're really pleased. I made a lot of phone calls before going back to the airtight thing. We're not going to let people in that are potentially going to tarnish.
You're a major part of this. Just going back, because I was looking at the thing. You designed his logo and everything.
Right, yeah, because it's like At this level, you've got to sell tickets. You've got to get your profile as high as you possibly can.
It's a popularity contest more than anything.
It's so we've got to. Everybody's doing it. Everybody's out there. They're putting themselves out on social media. They're all doing the interviews. It's part of it. He's got to sell himself. He's got to sell the tickets, and more importantly, he's got to win.
Like I say, hopefully next time you're down here, probably a few more weeks into camp, maybe early in the new year or something like that, come down, catch up again, find out how the progression's going, and hopefully we might even have a bit more of a better idea of a date. And as I said to him, hopefully when I do speak to him next properly, it'll be saying, "You want to know?"
It will be. You watch.
You're gonna be a real like be on the back. Yes.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty calm. He gets. I'm quite ferocious in the gym with him. I don't. He doesn't get any breathing space in the gym. I mean, just this week, I kind of stepped back a bit because it's not my stable, but I'm just needing him to be around those levels. And there was varying levels, but he knows where he needs to be. He knows where he needs to be, and he knows.
Good signs. from this first proper full week?
Oh yeah. I mean, you know, I've seen what he's capable of in when he trains. You know, and when his head's on, as I like to put it. You know, he's committed. You know, he's not.
Well, mate, like I say, from what I've just seen, really impressed with him. So looking forward to this journey starting. As we said, we're not sure when, but certainly in 2021 we'll get the ball rolling and
you'll see him.
Get a few people excited, maybe drag a few people down from Morecambe on a big coach load.
Yeah, oh, he's got a big following. Don't worry about that.
They're mental up there, yo. I remember Ross Cookson. I think Ross is still fighting. I'm not sure. He's up around. I think Barrow. I think he's in Conroy, that area.
Yeah.
But big coach that they used to bring down, and they loved it. They love the fighting up there, don't they?
That's it. We do.
So
that's Northerners fear, isn't it?
Yeah. Hopefully we can develop. We was going to try and do it with Isaac, but he ended up following Tyson on his journey.
Well, he was out in Vegas, wasn't he, with him?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. He couldn't let the lad go on that journey. But we was looking at taking his career and trying to get somewhere up there. You know, it was on one of the football grounds or whatever, but it didn't materialise. But if we can do that, I think we've still got a few fighters up around that way, so maybe we can get a show on a bit closer to home. But like I say, looking forward to it. Roll on April. Roll on 2021. Let's get rid of 2020.
That's it.
It's a shit year, isn't it? Put it politely. Listen, have a good Christmas.
Thanks, Lee.
Great New Year, and I'll catch up with you then. Take care.
Cheers, Lee.
Bye.
For all boxing info, news and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.